Welcome back to the Metaphysics Podcast.
I'm Louise Hicks.
I'm Dennis Goddard.
And we are ready for another deep dive
You got it.
into listener-suggested topics.
Yeah, this one's been bubbling up in the comments. So a lot of people are talking about the law of assumption.
Yeah.
So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our deep dives.
Please.
And this is one you're really going to want to leave your thoughts on.
Absolutely.
Down in the comments.
It's a concept that seems simple on the surface, but has layers and layers and layers
It really does.
of depth to it.
Yeah, and we're going to try to take you through as many of those layers as we can.
Today, inspired by the teachings of Neville Goddard.
Right, Neville Goddard, who was born in Barbados in 1905.
What's intriguing is how he blended biblical concepts with this idea that the human mind is a powerhouse for shaping reality.
Yeah, so let's unpack this law of assumption.
Okay.
What is the core idea?
At its heart, it's the belief that your imagination isn't just some whimsical daydream factory, but it's literally the blueprint for your reality.
Okay.
Goddard believed that what we focus on, what we truly feel as true, starts to materialize in our lives.
So it's not just like wishing for things.
Yeah.
It's like shifting your entire state of being
Precisely.
into that reality.
It's about assuming the feeling of your desires as if they've already happened.
So like, how would you feel if you won the lottery tomorrow?
Yes.
I know.
Excited, relieved, maybe even a little disbelieving at first.
Right.
The law of assumption says you need to embody those feelings now.
So that's not just positive thinking then?
Not quite.
Right.
Think of it this way.
Yeah.
Positive thinking is like hoping for rain.
Okay.
The law of assumption is like being the rainmaker.
Oh.
It's an active, deliberate practice of shaping your inner world to match your desired outer world.
So it's more than just the thoughts then?
That's the key.
Okay.
Goddard called this living in the end. Imagine yourself stepping into a movie where your dream life is already playing out.
Right.
You're not watching it. You're in it, experiencing every sensation, every emotion.
Wow.
That's the level of immersion we're talking about.
So it's almost like method acting for your life.
It is a great analogy.
But the role you're playing is the person who already has everything they want.
And like any good actor, you have tools and techniques to help you fully inhabit the role.
Okay.
Goddard talked about the importance of our inner conversations, the scripts we run in our heads all the time.
So it's being mindful of that chatter
Exact.
and making sure it's aligned with what we want.
And it goes even deeper.
Okay.
Goddard believed we could even revise our past through imagination.
Really?
Think of it like editing a film.
Yeah.
You can go back and change the narrative, reframe events to empower you rather than hold you back.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
It is.
Kind of reminds me of when we were kids, how we used to just believe anything was possible.
Yeah.
And just go with it.
I love that perspective.
Yeah, maybe that's what this law of assumption is all about, is just tapping back into that.
It's about reclaiming that innate power we all have to shape our reality.
Yeah. Okay, so we got the basic idea. Imagination is key. But how is this different from just wishful thinking?
That's a great question.
Because,
Yeah.
I can imagine winning the lottery
Yes.
all day, but if I don't buy a ticket,
Right.
it's not going to happen.
That's a great point, and it highlights the active nature of the law of assumption.
Okay.
It's not about sitting back and passively hoping for things to change.
Right.
It's about taking deliberate steps to align yourself with your desires.
Okay, so it's kind of like planting a seed.
Yes.
You can't just scatter seeds and hope for the best.
Right.
Got to nurture them, give them what they need to grow.
Exactly. The assumption is the fertile ground that allows the seed of your desire to take root and flourish. It's about creating an internal environment where those desires can actually manifest.
Okay, so let's get practical.
Okay.
How do we do this?
First step, and this might sound obvious,
Okay.
but it's crucial,
Right.
is to get crystal clear about what you want.
Okay.
And I mean laser focused, no room for doubt clarity.
So no more vague wishes?
Exactly. The universe responds to specificity.
Oh.
So instead of just saying, I want more money,
Right.
ask yourself, what would financial abundance feel like in your life?
Yeah.
What would you be doing? How would you be spending your time?
So paint a vivid picture.
Precisely.
Engage all the senses.
And that's where tools like affirmations and visualizations come in.
Okay.
Affirmations are positive statements phrased in the present tense that reflect your desired reality.
So instead of saying, I will be successful,
Right.
you say, I am successful.
You got it. It's
Yeah.
about training your mind to accept that reality as your current truth.
Gotcha.
And visualization takes it a step further.
Okay.
Imagine yourself living that reality, engaging all your senses.
Okay.
What do you see, hear, feel, even smell in this new reality?
So immerse yourself in it.
Yeah.
Don't just think about it from a distance.
Remember we talked about Goddard emphasizing living in the end?
Yeah.
This is where that concept comes into play. It's not just about visualizing the end goal. It's about making choices and taking actions as if you're already there.
So for example, if you are assuming a reality of abundance,
Yeah,
you might start making decisions as if you already had that abundance.
exactly.
Like investing in yourself or being more generous or something like that.
It's about aligning your actions with your assumptions.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Goddard believed that the how is not our concern.
Wow.
Our job is to assume the desired reality.
Really?
The universe will figure out the details.
So you're saying we don't have to worry about how it's going to happen. We just have to assume that it already has.
That's the leap of faith.
Okay.
But remember, surrender doesn't mean becoming passive.
Okay.
It's about directing your energy towards the feeling of the wish fulfilled, rather than getting bogged down in the logistics of how it will happen.
So it's like we're co-creating with the universe in a way.
Exactly.
We're setting the intention, but then allowing it to unfold.
And it requires a certain level of trust and detachment. Goddard often talked about the importance of not getting too attached to specific outcomes. It's about focusing on the feeling, the essence of what you desire, and letting the universe handle the details.
This is fascinating stuff.
It is.
I have a feeling we're just scratching the surface here.
You're absolutely right.
This law of assumption, there's so much more to it.
There's so much more to explore.
Well, we want to hear from you.
Yes.
What are your initial thoughts on the law of assumption? Have you ever experienced its power in your own life?
Tell us.
Share your stories, insights, and questions down in the comments below.
We love to hear from you.
And we're going to be diving even deeper in part 2.
We are.
So make sure you hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
And stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Metaphysics Podcast and part 2.
Of our deep dive.
Into the law of assumption.
Yeah, it's been so much fun reading the comments.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
You guys are really into this.
I know.
Which is fantastic.
It is.
Because we're going to go even deeper today.
That's right. We're going to explore the nitty-gritty, the practical techniques, and address some of those burning questions that naturally come up when you start playing with this powerful concept.
Yeah, so we established that imagination and feeling are key.
Yes.
But, you know, it's not always easy to shift our beliefs
It's not.
and truly feel as if our desires are already manifested.
All right.
I mean, doubts creep in,
Absolutely.
old patterns resurface.
Yeah.
How do we navigate all of that?
You've hit the nail on the head. One of the biggest hurdles is overcoming those ingrained patterns of doubt and disbelief.
Yeah.
We're so conditioned to focus on what we lack,
Right.
what's missing in our lives, that it takes conscious effort to retrain our minds.
It's like we're fighting against years of conditioning.
We are.
Like rewiring our brains.
Exactly. But the exciting thing is our brains are remarkably adaptable. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to change and form new connections, is on our side here.
That's good.
The more we practice assuming the feeling of our desires,
Okay.
the more we reinforce those neural pathways.
So it's like creating new habits of thought and feeling,
Precisely.
replacing the old limiting beliefs with
Empowering ones.
Right
And it's
on.
not about denying the existence of challenges or pretending everything is perfect.
Right.
It's about choosing where we focus our energy.
Okay.
Do we dwell on the problem or do we assume the solution?
That's a powerful distinction.
It is.
Shifting our perspective from one of lack to one of possibility.
Right. And it's important to be patient with yourself. This is an ongoing practice, not a one-time fix.
Right.
Some days, assuming the feeling of your desires will feel effortless. Other days, it might take more work.
Sure.
The key is to keep practicing, to keep returning to that state of feeling as if it's already done.
Like building a muscle.
Love that analogy.
Yeah. The more we exercise it,
Yes.
the stronger it gets.
And just like with physical exercise, consistency is key.
Right.
Don't get discouraged if you don't see results overnight.
Of course.
Keep visualizing, keep affirming, keep feeling those desires as if they're already yours.
And trust the process.
Trust the process.
That the universe is working.
That's where faith comes in. Goddard talked about the importance of having faith in the unseen, trusting that what we've impressed upon our subconscious mind is already taking shape in the unseen realms.
Okay, so it's not just about the mental gymnastics then.
No.
It's about aligning our energy
It is.
with that deeper universal power.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful ways to strengthen that alignment is through gratitude.
Oh?
Expressing gratitude for what we already have amplifies the energy of our desires and sends a clear message to the universe that we're ready to receive more.
So even if we haven't experienced it in the physical realm yet,
Yes.
we can still be grateful for having it.
Precisely, gratitude is like a magnet for more blessings. It opens our hearts and minds to receive the abundance that's always available to us.
This is really profound stuff.
It is.
And I can see how this can really be life-changing.
It can be.
But are there any common pitfalls?
Oh, that's such an important question because awareness is key.
Yeah, mistakes that people make when they're trying to apply this.
One common pitfall is getting too attached to specific outcomes.
Okay.
Remember, the universe often works in mysterious ways.
Right.
We might have a very clear picture in our minds of how we want something to manifest, but that might not be the best path for us.
So being open
Exactly.
to receiving it in a different way.
It's about surrendering to the divine orchestration of events, trusting that the universe has a plan for us that's even grander than we can conceive.
Yeah, that takes a lot of trust.
It does.
What about the opposite? What about not being specific enough?
Absolutely. The universe responds to clarity. If our desires are vague or half-hearted, the results will be too. It's like placing an order at a restaurant but not telling the waiter what you want. You might end up with something you don't even like.
Okay, so we got to be clear.
Yes, be specific.
Yep.
What does that dream job actually look like? What qualities does that ideal partner embody? How does financial freedom actually feel in your day-to-day life?
Get into the details.
And don't be afraid to get granular. Describe your ideal house car vacation, whatever it is you desire. Paint a vivid picture in your mind and don't hold back.
Give the universe a blueprint.
That's it. And here's another common mistake, giving up too soon.
Yeah.
Remember, manifestation takes time. It's not an instant process. It's like planting a seed. You wouldn't dig it up every day to see if it's sprouted yet.
So patience.
Patience is key, and not just patience, but also persistence.
Right, so keep at it.
It's about consistently practicing the techniques we've discussed, visualization, affirmations, living in the end, and trusting that the universe is working behind the scenes to bring your desires into fruition.
Have faith even when you don't see results.
And remember, doubts and challenges are natural. They're part of the process. The key is not to let those doubts derail us when those negative thoughts creep in. Gently acknowledge them, but don't give them power. Return your focus to the feeling of your desires being fulfilled.
So it's like we're training our minds to focus on the positive.
We are.
Choose the empowering thoughts over the limiting ones.
And that's a powerful skill to cultivate, not just for manifestation, but for life in general. The more we practice choosing thoughts that serve us, the more we create a reality that reflects our highest potential.
This is all incredibly insightful.
It is.
But I have a feeling
I know what you're going to say.
there's more to uncover.
You're right. There's a whole other layer to this that we haven't even touched on yet.
And that, my friends,
yes,
is what we'll be diving into
in part 3.
So make sure you're subscribed and stay tuned.
We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Welcome back to the Metaphysics Podcast. We're wrapping up our deep dive into the law of assumption, and I'm already feeling a shift in my own thinking.
I know, me too. Just exploring it starts to rewire our understanding of reality.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Clarity, affirmations, visualizations, living in the end, facing down those doubts. But you hinted at something else.
I did.
Another layer.
Right.
Something even deeper.
We've talked about the techniques, but the foundation of all of this, the real secret sauce, is cultivating a state of sustained attention.
Attention.
Like
just paying attention to stuff.
It's not just about passively observing.
Okay.
It's about directing your attention with laser focus on your desired reality, holding that vision with unwavering clarity.
But how do we even do that?
Right.
I mean, in a world full of distractions.
Yes.
You know, our minds are like ping pong balls bouncing from one thought to the next.
That's the challenge, right? Our modern world bombards us with stimuli. We're constantly plugged in, scrolling, consuming information. It fragments our attention.
So mastering the law of assumption, then, is almost like a rebellion against that distraction.
It is.
This constant distraction.
It's about reclaiming your power of attention, choosing where you direct that mental energy. Goddard believed this was essential for manifesting. It's not enough to just have a fleeting thought or feeling. You have to cultivate a sustained state of awareness.
So it's like the difference between glancing at a map and really like immersing yourself in it.
Yes.
And knowing every landmark, every path.
That's a great way to put it. It's about creating that level of mental immersion in your desired reality. And it's not easy. It takes practice.
So how do we do that?
Well,
How do we strengthen this attention muscle?
you mentioned meditation earlier.
Yeah.
Meditation is a fantastic tool for this. It trains the mind to be still, to observe thoughts without getting swept away by them. Even a few minutes a day can make a huge difference.
What about those of us who just can't sit still?
Absolutely. Engaging in activities that require sustained attention can help. Reading a book, learning a new skill. Anything that draws you in and makes you forget about distractions.
So instead of mindlessly scrolling through social media,
Right.
I could be, reading a biography of Neville Goddard
There you go.
and deepening my understanding
it.
of these concepts.
It's about making conscious choices about where you direct your attention, and it's not about deprivation.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that your attention is valuable. It's your creative power.
This makes me think about all the things that we fill our lives with, entertainment, news, gossip, all this stuff.
Yes.
How much of that is actually nourishing our minds
Right.
and aligning us with our desires?
That's a powerful question for each of us to consider. What if we were more selective, more intentional about what we allow into our mental space? What reality could we create then?
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
It has
I
been.
feel like I have a whole new toolkit now
Yeah.
for not just manifesting my desires, but just for living a more mindful and intentional life.
That's the beauty of the law of assumption. It's not just about getting stuff. It's about becoming a conscious creator of your experience, and that journey starts within.
And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
No, you're not.
We're all figuring this out together.
That's right.
Keep exploring. Keep experimenting. Keep sharing your insights with each other in the comments. And most importantly, keep believing in the power within you to create the life you truly desire.
Beautifully said. Now, before we wrap up, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the Metaphysics Podcast for more mind-expanding deep dives. We'll be back soon with another fascinating topic, so stay tuned.
Until then, keep that attention focused on your dreams. You never know what magic might unfold. See you next time.